three. Yes, sir. Three. Steph got it. Oh, what a shot.
You think you with? I'm the police. I run here. You just live here. King Kong ain't got on me.
Is that what this is?
What?
Is what you're threatening. If I don't apologize, I'm going to lose you.
I'm not looking for an apology, Malcolm.
Well, what do you want, a screenplay credit?
Gets it to Jordan. Michael challenges the slam.
And in that time, and that sort of clogged things up. Jordan. Oh, wow.
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What is he talking about?
Yo, what's good? What's good? What is good? You know what it is. You know who it is. It's me, Mario, and welcome to the Appraise the Phrase show, origins of everyday expressions, where we're here to do three things: unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of common everyday phrases. 20, what's good, brother?
What's up, man? What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm out here. That's what niggas supposed to do when they wear this ain't no blesser. This a what are these? Tank. The tank. That's what niggas supposed to do out here. Are you out here? How are you feeling?
Obviously, I'm not out here like you, Playboy. Playboy. I ain't out here like you, Playboy. Are we trapping today, or what's going on? You got somebody watching today, Playboy?
Hey, call back 20. I actually was on the internet looking around for stuff. There's one I'm looking for, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all act like you didn't record it. Every single one of y'all. And I'm like, this is one of the best ones. And it's like, it got Alex on the hook. It's something like top billing, number one feeling. It's like one of y'all like,
that's your joint. Yeah.
I cannot find it, cuz.
Oh, dog. See? Lost in transition, baby.
I know, man. And you know it was a little vendetta. Cause what's the name? Killed the hard drive.
She's been selling them ever since. No, I'm just kidding. She
good.
We popping in Thailand. She been selling us mixtapes in Thailand. Nigga, we over there.
What's going on? Oh man, what's good, y'all? Today it's just me and my dog. Feeling good.
Hopefully, I mean, yeah, look. They don't even care no more, man. They don't even care no more, man.
Dog, that's literally, I came out to see if the crowd would even make, is Mario on today? Like, I came out casual to see if they would react. Didn't react.
You even brought the guns on the show with you.
Hey. I said, move the detectives. I'm walking around the detectives. Still nothing.
Still nothing. All right. Well, we'll see. Hopefully they enjoyed the rest of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully. So let's get into it, man. So whenever it's me and you, bro, I always try to find a phrase that like we can do what we do on there. I actually got some good feedback this season about our only show with just us two this season. And while we love our guests, it's like they said the feedback I got was that there's something very special when it's just us two. We get to lean into who we are in our friendship and relationship a little more. So I try to find phrases that support that. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, we're going to unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Wow.
And in 8 parts, I'll explain that phrase.
Now, we're both fathers. We're both
Damn, that's crazy we didn't do that one yet, though.
I know, right?
That's weird. Oh.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I'm just thinking like, Damn, we haven't done that.
Why wouldn't we have done that one?
Why wouldn't we have? Why wouldn't we have?
So I'm like, let's do it when there's no one else around and we can be a little more focused on our experiences with this thought, man. Because we have our own thoughts about this, man. So,
but you were right though.
You feel me?
Fathers, we are sons too, as well. So
we are sons, and so
to get away from that movement you was just making. Yeah, man. Shouts out to the fathers and the sons out there. Family in general. I feel like it's not just for men, but for women too as well. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So talk to me, man. What's your connection with the apple doesn't fall far from the tree?
All right, I don't know. You know what it is? Is I feel like when it comes to terms as the culture, we because of the generations that we came up in, it was a point in time where that phrase was the most positive phrase ever. And there was a certain generation that made that phrase just a negative, just a taunting, just a finger pointing phrase. And, I kind of got the back end of that generation, not saying that, my father was someone who I didn't want to be far from the tree, because like if I could stay on the tree to this day, I would stay on the tree. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like in general, like that phrase has its up and downs, man, has its positive and negative, when it comes to that phrase. But majority of the time it's more or less like, oh, you remind me of something, or you remind me of someone. Yeah. That's really where I kind of relate to that. Like when I say, yeah, the apples doesn't fall far from the tree, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you might not be the same person, but you're in the same area, or you might not be in the same room, but you're still in the same house. So it's one of those situations when it comes to that phrase. For me, I feel like it is man, you remind me of your daddy, or man, you remind me of your parents, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like your damn daddy.
Just like Jaws.
Man, look, I'm with you there. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it the way you said it until you said it. And so I'm going to try to give my connection to it without that attached, and then add to that, because
you did come back to the attachment.
And then, because that shit is real. And for me, it's like you said, it was so positive. It's what you wanted. Right. It's like your hope and dream is that, like, you are like, for me, like I like you said, I never necessarily wanted to be like my parent, my dad specifically, but I'm like, I want to know that I'm my dad's son.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh, right. And then and then you get to like where we are today, for many layers, and you're like, damn, like it did turn into like you just act just like your dad, or like, man, my dad used to, or my parent used to, and I can't believe I'm doing this, just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe. And I'm like, yo, and then you take it another layer for those that are like really like this, and it's like with the therapy thing, you're like, and now because of my parent, because of my dad, I'm doing this, and I gotta break that.
I gotta break that
cycle.
I gotta fall far from the tree.
I gotta so far from the tree.
I gotta continue to roll down the hill.
Come on, I hope I'm on the hill.
Oh, just the wind. Help me out.
So that's where I'm at with it. One other thing that you just reminded me of is on the specific sense, on the literal sense. They don't.
They don't. They don't, bro.
Apples don't. They actually, without a hill, they kind of only they fall where they were hanging.
Yeah. Yes. If there is a flat plane, it's just going to fall straight down.
It's going to fall straight down. Because even like apples can be heavy. So if the wind will have to be blowing it out of the tree.
Right.
And then my other thought is, do ripe apples fall? Like what causes apples to fall out the tree? I should have researched this, but I stayed with the literature.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
I hear that, bro. Yeah, well, yeah. And once sports cut it off, you got to cut it off. Once sports got to cut it off, you got to cut it off because you don't want to digress into that. Because here I am thinking about apples instead of the actual phrases.
Exactly, because now we're science. No, this is language.
Mm-hmm. What Sir Isaac Newton said.
Exactly. What would Sir Isaac say? How far? But yeah, so that's where I'm at with it, man. Let's get into the meaning. So we're introducing a new dictionary today. But before we do that, let's go to an old faithful. Let's go to Cambridge Dictionary. And they define the apple doesn't fall far from the tree as a child usually has a similar character or similar qualities to his or her parents. So straight up like characteristics, qualities, similar, same. Usually, they said. Now we got Longman Dictionary. The Longman Dictionary. I try to research like who started the Longman Dictionary. Was it John Longman? I don't know. But, and they didn't give me a year that they started.
Mm-hmm.
So
it could
grain of salt there.
Okay.
But they said that the phrase is defined and is used to say that children are usually similar to their parents, especially in a bad way.
Especially in a bad way.
So they might have seen it. They might have came up with it and did their observation around the same time you were talking about how it went from positive to negative. Where you at with it, bro?
Listen, maybe we should come up with our own dictionary because I feel like
I think that's the next book.
I feel like the next move should be our own dictionary with our own phrases and stuff like that, and make it a dictionary like that. That might be the next.
That's actually kind of fire, brother. And
that might be the next $1 million. I don't know what he's saying, but that's my shit.
That's my
shit. I have no idea what he's saying. But yeah, no, I feel like it's a situation where, see, it's all about the timing. You know what I mean? Like beforehand, I would say Cambridge had it on, like before you told me the Longman way, I would say Cambridge had it 100%. But society has changed that definition to the Longman definition. And I just feel like whenever someone says that, it is a ridiculing phrase, or it is something to kind of like, I don't want to say torment, but like poke at someone, like, oh, look what you doing. Apple don't fall from. Oh, you in jail? Apple don't fall from.
Yeah.
Not just using that jail aspect, but just in life.
Yeah, that was crazy, brother. That was crazy.
My bad. You know, I don't know. PTSD, I guess. I'm sorry. But yeah, but nah. It's like a situation where, yeah, the first one, hands down, when you hear it, it's spot on. But soon as you say that last one, the Longman definition, you're like, maybe it's like 90, 92, 93. You know what I'm saying? Cambridge probably got it 93% right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, because of experience, the experience shows you like, yo, you know, majority of the time you hear it is when someone is saying either you're doing something wrong or you're making the same mistake that someone else did.
You're making the same mistake as your peoples. Now, hold on.
Go get that phlegm out, baby.
Yeah, but I am trying to think, like, when have I heard someone do something great? Because, you know, I mean, now Steph Curry, I'm jumping here. Steph Curry is a much better player than his father ever was. I've never heard anyone say about Steph Curry, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
You know what it is, Mario? They probably said that when he first made his first three. When he probably made his first 10 threes. Oh, okay, Steph. There you go. Apple don't fall far. Because his dad was a three-point shooter. So it's like, okay. Yep. And then that apple just kept rolling, bro. That apple just kept rolling. That
to a
apple-
bigger
rolling,
to a tree that it rolled closer to
bro, it rose so much that it built its own tree. Like the apple decomposed in the ground. It had enough room because it was so far from that same tree that it built its own tree, and now it's standing by itself.
and it gives off better apples. Now, what I do believe, shout out to Del Curry. What I do believe, based on Lawman's definition and your experience with the phrase, not experience, but your thoughts on the phrase, is that if Steph and Aisha ever fall out, that they gonna pull that right on their pocket and say, "Nah, look."
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like they would definitely. And so you use ridicule, which is an underused word in my life. I haven't heard it in a while, and it is a very good word.
It's an amazing word. Like I feel
ridicule feels like you're ridiculing. Like the sound of the word feels. I'm gonna ridicule you.
Yeah, like yeah. It sounds so threatening. It sounds so threatening. Like if you don't know the definition, the true definition of ridicule, you'd be like, "What you say to me?"
Exactly.
What you gonna?
I'm gonna take them as disrespect.
I'm gonna take it as disrespect.
Exactly, brother. So, okay, we're on the same page here. It seems.
Yeah.
So it seems. So let's not waste no time. Let's find out where this thing really came from.
Where'd that come from?
All right, so we're taking it back to it's the 19th century, so the 1830s is where the first printed version of this came from, and it was used in Benjamin Thorpe's translation of Rasmus Rask's Grammar of the Anglo-Saxon Tongue. So that was published in 1830. Okay, so in that it said, traces still exist in the daily language of the Icelanders. For instance, in the proverb, it's Icelandic phrase, which translates to "the apple falls not far from the oak," with the exclamation point. So Rasmus Rask was a Danish linguist and philologist, which is like studying several languages.
Yeah.
And so from that, we can take that, although 1830 is when it was printed, Iceland, Danish phrase type deal. Now, he wrote several grammars and worked on comparative phonology and morphology, and Rask traveled extensively to study languages. Like, this is all he cared about. He cared about just studying language. So first he went to Iceland, where he wrote that book, and then he went to Russia, Persia, India, and Sri Lanka. So it wasn't even like European languages. Like, he wanted to learn languages. You know what I'm saying?
Like, all of those are like really difficult languages.
Yes, exactly. So he didn't even do like the strictly Germanic, where it's like, okay, I know Italian, so I basically know Spanish.
Exactly.
You know?
I know. Yeah, bro. Like I know Spanish, so I know Portuguese. You know
I know Portuguese, exactly.
Yeah, bro. No.
I can get by. Like, he wasn't getting by. He really was like, I want to know Russian, Sri Lankan, Indian, Persian, on top of all this other stuff. And he was Danish, and he Anglo-Saxon. So just because of the phrase, his father, Rask's father, was a smallholder and a tailor. And because I was like, okay, well, why the hell would Rask? But his father was well read and had a decently sized book collection. Wow. Okay, so yeah, like similar. So Rask was the first to show the relationship between ancient Northern and the Western and Eastern Germanic languages. So that was his first plight. Like, there's a relationship between these different Germanic languages in different areas. He also showed the relationship with the Lithuanian, Slavonic, Greek, and Latin languages. So the ones that, like, we started talking about started to get a little different. He was like, I have to show that we can all speak the same language, maybe in some way. And then he formulated the first working version of what would later be known as Grimm's Law for the transmutation of consonants and transition from the old Indo-European languages to Germanic, although only compared to Germanic and Greek. because Sanskrit he couldn't do it. He couldn't learn Sanskrit, which is like the Indian, like the deep. He couldn't learn it in enough time. There wasn't enough time to him. So, just to let you know how well read this man was, in 1822 he knew 25 languages and dialects, and he studied twice as many as that. So, this man Rask, all about language. And it stemmed from his well-read father, who had a decently sized book collection, right?
So I get where they're trying to make the connection with the phrase.
Yeah. So that's where, but we're still thinking like, okay, Icelandic phrase. So now let's jump to 1839. So 9 years later, Ralph Waldo Emerson. You know Emerson? Have you heard of Ralph Waldo Emerson?
No.
Okay, because it was like, for me, when I
want to say I haven't, but the name
is the name familiar?
No, I'm saying the name is probably what's keeping me from saying yes. Now it sounds like Emerson. Obviously, that's a more popular business name. Like it's a huge companies that
I'm thinking it's the same.
But then that's what I'm saying. If that's the case, then yes.
Got you, because that's where I was at. I was like, Ralph Waldo Emerson, like, damn, that sounds familiar to me. I probably should know. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to anybody that wants to ridicule us for being 4 seasons in and not being so locked in on Ralph Waldo Emerson. But I liked what we found out about him. So he published a letter which was used in the English form of an existing German proverb, which I can say the German ones. It's der Apfel fällt nicht weit vom Stamm. And that's to say that as men say, the apple never falls far from the stem. And so before we move on, how do you feel about that difference? Because I feel like stem and tree are different.
Totally different. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I was even more towards the oak part.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's go.
I was more no, I'm glad we put them all together, so it gives a great comparison. I was more closer to the oak part because that's the whole. Like when you think of apple don't fall far from the tree, you think of the tree that's out, like the leaves, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like where the apple was in the beginning. You think about the leaves, but when you say oak, then that gives you that bark, that the bottom of the tree too as well. So obviously when it falls from the top, it stops right there and it's still right next to that bark or the trunk or whatever part of the tree you want to call it. Now when it comes to the stem, my thing is I feel like the apple, the stem is that piece, that little small piece that you take off when you twist off when you got the apple, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, how does it fall from that piece unless I'm not getting, maybe they're talking about the branch. But in that case, it's still further because it depends on how high the apple tree is.
Correct. That's where I'm at with it. Like, the stem stays on the apple. Right. So that's when it falls from a tree, the stem is the only thing holding it to the tree.
Yeah.
So I typically see the apple fall with the stem.
Right.
Now, if it does fall off of the stem, that is farther than the oak to me. And I would say it does, in relation to that, it does fall pretty far from the stem. Now, if it stays on the stem when it falls and then the stem like comes off because of the impact on the ground, then I'm like, what are the Germans trying to say about it that's different from what the Icelanders and Danish were saying about it? Like, and that is really where it took me. Like, do Germans feel that you're close, like it's a closer likeness or farther likeness?
Wow, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, and that's a valid question too as well.
Where you at, bro? Where and let's like time together, like making it a little more practical. Like,
yeah,
your experience as a son to your father. We're just gonna go with sons and fathers for now. even though shout out Khaleesi. And then your kid, your two sons.
Yeah.
Like oak, stem.
I would say this though, Mario. When it comes to my dad wasn't a football player, and I play football. But I feel like I'm not putting that on my sons unless they want to play. So in that aspect, I feel like you can't really go with that, you know. But then again, there's certain characteristics that my sons have that they've seen from me that they in themselves take on. You get what I mean? And there's certain characteristics that I take on from my dad too as well, like unknowingly. Like as a grown man, I see so much of my dad and some of the things that I do because here I am questioning, you know, myself and why am I doing this? Like, how am I doing this? Or why? And then I sit back and I think, I'm like, that's because I seen my dad get up and go to work every day. You get what I'm saying? So I don't look at, I have that already mindset about work. Like I can get up, go to work, provide for my family, and as long as my family is good, regardless of how I feel inside, that'll keep me going.
Right.
So, and I'm like, and I, as a father, like some of the things that I'm noticing now that I'm doing for my children, because I've had the ability and the privilege to do it myself as a child. I'm thinking, man, was Monday through Friday just like that for my dad too as well? Because Saturdays, you know, Saturdays, Sundays was lit.
Yeah.
And as a kid, that's all you remember. You don't really, or all you realize. You don't think that, man, my people putting in 40, 50 hours,
right?
So they'll be able to take us to Disney World this weekend, or putting in a little more overtime, so that when we do go to family vacation, they're not pressed. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
So it's like that in that aspect, I'm like, okay, like that's why I'm able to do that, because I've seen my parents do it.
Yeah.
And my kids, when it comes to my kids, like the things that I enjoy and the things that I don't like, they're starting to figure out, okay, I'm not going to eat this because everybody eats it. I'm going to eat this because I enjoy it. You get what I'm saying? Or I'm going to do this a certain way because this is the best way that suits me. And that's how I am. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't care if 1,000 people are eating mayonnaise sandwiches. I would not eat a mayonnaise sandwich. That's just me. And all those 1,000 people can ridicule me about not liking mayonnaise, but that's just me, bro. Like that wouldn't move me. And I see that with my children now. Like if they believe in what they believe in, and it's great to see that. And I'm like, okay, that's something that I hope that they, that as a parent, me, their mother, and everybody else in the village of raising them, that's what they got from that.
Yeah. Heard that, man. That was hard. Damn. How do I follow that up? No, but for me, man, like I'll start with father, son to my son, and then I'll include the village, like you said. I from physical mannerisms. That's the first thing that started for me. Like outside of these goddamn cheekbones, like I've never been to allegations.
Yeah.
Of being my dad's son with these goddamn cheekbones, but like physical mannerisms, like how I watched, because these are the things I watched. Is what I realized, like how he drove a car is how I drive a car. Literally, how I chill out when I'm driving is how he drove. You feel me? So there's that part, and then like one of the most ambitious types, one of the most, I would even say, like, I don't know if his confidence was faux or real, but one of the most confident, like believed in his own idea type, that I am like that. And it's weird because my brother is not. My brother is not. So those things, if we're talking about apple falling far from the tree, that's the shade. of the tree that they gave me, or that's the bark, some of the bark or whatever the stem. With my son, I see in him curiosity, the same level of curiosity. Even though he's, you know what I'm saying, me and his mom, we split time. You know what I'm saying? So he was in our household together full time for a year and some change of his life. And that's when I think a lot of this developed, because I've seen it in him, and then now I see it in expressing in different ways, but like his curiosity and his humor. Like, look at the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, he laughs and jokes about things that he ain't worried about if you're going to laugh and joke about it. He going to laugh and joke about it. Like, similar to this show, what we're doing. Like, we got a show about this because we got a show about this. I find certain things funny because I find them funny. And that's what I see. But I don't know if he's falling far when it comes to, like you said, the sports thing. I won't put that on him. So I don't know if he's falling far when it comes to that. I know that the things that I didn't fall far from with my mom, and like I said, some of that stuff from therapy, and how I'm like, if apples can roll on their own autonomy, I'm rolling away from the tree in certain aspects. I'm rolling away from the tree is what I noticed. So
That's funny.
That's what when the stem part came up, I'm like, is the stem part like, okay, these are the parts you cannot shake unless the stem is pulled off, or it's by like intentionally pulled off, or it's by like the thing hitting the ground, the apple hitting the ground. So just want to throw that out there, man. Let's get back into Emerson before we digress pretty good. Let's get back into Emerson. So Emerson went by his middle name, which is Waldo, and he was an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, and abolitionist. And he was a poet who led the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. He was seen as a champion of individualism and critical thinking, and as well as a prescient critic of the countervailing pressures of society and conformity. He was not going just because. Mm-hmm. He was not going just because, dog. He was not. So Nietzsche thought he was the most gifted of the Americans.
Wow.
Nietzsche said this about Emerson, and Walt Whitman called him his master. So yeah, Emerson was a big dog.
Yeah, Emerson was a big dog, bro.
Yeah, Emerson was a big dog.
Look up into it, bro. We gotta look up into it because I knew it rang a bell for something, but I just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, and those are two
heavy hitters. Now,
heavy hitters, bro.
What Emerson is this way, right? Like highly esteemed. His father, William Emerson, was one of Boston's leading citizens. He was a liberal-minded Unitarian minister, and he was a pastor to Boston's first church, and he's the founder of the Philosophical Society, the Anthology Club, and Boston Athenaeum. So, like, his father was also like a mover and shaker and to his own drum, which we're going to have to appraise. Like, moves to the beat of his own drum. Now, before using the German translation of the phrase, Emerson wrote the essay Nature in 1836. And in the essay, Emerson put forth the foundation of transcendentalism. And it's a belief system that basically says a non-traditional appreciation of nature. And it suggests that the divine or God suffuses nature. He's all up in it. Nature is a representation of God. God works through nature, and suggests that reality can be understood by studying nature. So, with that, my brother, where you at with Emerson's contribution to the apple not falling far from the tree stem?
You know what? Honestly, it doesn't change the way I feel about it, but it just shows, like, you know, the impression that a child has, you know, that or a parent has on their child. Yeah. You get what I mean? Like in all these occasions, that's what I mean by how, you know, back then it was a situation of pride, it was a situation of honor for somebody to say that to you. You wanted somebody to say, "Oh, you're a chip on the old block," or, you know,
You get
what I'm saying? And you can tell, man, because these these people, all of these guys, all these gentlemen, their dad was something. They've superseded their parent, but their parent was still up there, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I feel like that's the case in these situations. Yeah, and it makes me feel like that's something you tell someone in the early stages of them finding out who they are.
Right.
Because majority of these people that have fathers that have done similar or in the same ballpark of great things, they've superseded that.
Right.
So you can't say that that's not a true statement to tell them to tell Steph Curry right now the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because we know that apple fell a little further. But I know what tree it came from. But it fell a little further because your journey was that journey from ground to rot. That journey from ground to rot was crazy. Bro, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy.
Bro, so thank you, because I connected this as you were talking, and then you obviously sealed the deal with my thought. And it's like, is the far from the tree just your own journey and not so much like ridicule? Like, are we supposed to be taking the part where you actually did, like, it doesn't fall far, but it does fall from the tree? Like, you are set up from the tree, but you're going to be different than, like, you're going to fall from the tree. And we should be talking about, like, how far in terms of how much their ceiling is your floor.
Right.
We don't use it that way, like you said now, but it sounds like they were using it in that way, and are representations of that.
Right.
Themselves.
Exactly. No, exactly.
All right.
Exactly, bro. I don't know. That's.
I fuck with it.
The one thing about us not having guests, and this is no
shade to guests,
no shade to the guests, but like, we do get through them real quick because we do give the valid points, and once you give the points, it's like, damn, I can't argue with that.
Right. It's not a lot to sift through, man, because we want to make sure that the phrase one is saying what it's saying, and if it's not, we are like, well, then what is it saying? And we get to it. You know what I'm saying?
We get to it. Yeah.
We do this. All right, man. 1843, again, not too far ago. So, like, this kind of popped in English in the same, like, 20 years. 20 years is given. In George Henry Burroughs' The Bible in Spain, he said, the apple, as the Danes say, had not fallen far from the tree. So he referenced the Danish when it was first recorded from Thorpe's Rask translation. Mm-hmm. And it says, the apple, as the Danes say, had not fallen far from the tree. The imp was in every respect the counterpart of the father. So counterpart throwing me off a little bit, bro, because that could be opposite, or that could be in support of. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want to talk about Burroughs for a second. Burroughs was an English writer of novels and travel based on personal experiences in Europe. So his novels were basically like his own personal experience, and it gave him a close affinity with the Romani people of Europe, who figure strongly in his work. He was highly influenced by these folks, and his best known books are The Bible in Spain, which references the phrase today, and then the novels Lavengro and The Romany Rye, which was set in English Romanical, and it talks about gypsies. Like, he was the first dude to ever, like, hey, yo, gypsies are real. This how these hoes be living. The gypsies. Now, his father, Thomas Burroughs, was an Army recruiting officer. He was a lieutenant in the West Norfolk Militia and was quartered at the prisoner of war camp at Norman Cross. That's all we know, is that this man, the only reason why he was traveling and was good with travel is because he traveled from his father being in the military. It don't say nothing else about his father being into language. It don't say nothing about his father being into the Bible. Nothing. It's just military. So I don't know. But The Bible in Spain is a travel book where he tells the travels through Spain while working as a Bible salesman in 1835 to 1838. And his activities on behalf of the Bible Society encountered much opposition against the Roman Catholic Church and from politicians. And it was a popular work when it appeared, running through several editions. So he kept upgrading it as he was going through these experiences. And the book actually brought him money and recognition, and it had 6 editions and sold 10,000 copies in 4 months. Good for you, brother. And it also sold well in the United States. Huh?
This isn't the Holy Bible we're talking about.
No, this is the Bible in Spain that he's selling while on tour trying to sell Bibles, which is, I think, brilliant.
Hey, Playboy, I got this Holy Bible for 30, but if you want the Spanish Bible, I got that one for 25.
Your choice.
Let me know. Hey, both are pretty much the same thing, Playboy.
Same thing.
But, and if you buy the Holy Bible, hear me out, I give you the Spanish Bible for $10 more.
God's work.
God's work.
God's work.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. He's not through with me yet.
Dog. So it's funny you say that,
Yeah.
because it actually the success of him selling this and however he did it, probably like that, helped to promote public interest in Britain in the work of distributing religious works.
Hashtag anointed one.
Anointed. So whatever his method was the major focus of the Bible Society in the mid-19th century. So whatever he was doing to get these joints off, the Bible Society said, hey, that's the way you sell a motherfucking Bible.
That's how you sell that motherfucking Bible. If there's a way you sell the Bible, that's the way you sell it.
That's how you sell the Bible, by selling another book on the side.
On the side of it.
Hey, man. So really we get to the point where we have 2 examples. To wrap this up, we have 2 examples that use the phrase, that establish the phrase. And this is like how between the popularity, you have Emerson, who said it, popularized it, and then it went into the religious world because he wrote it in this Bible, the Bible in Spain book, while he was turning the way you sell Bibles on his head.
Right.
Like he was the internet of selling Bibles. And that's how this phrase got into prominence and went from there. So it doesn't originate in English. It's likely Icelandic or something like that, but it was popularized by 2 guys who were like their dad, who were influenced by their dad so much, and another one who was meh. But his contribution was the fact that he went the religious route. Where you at with it?
Man, I feel like it throws that I don't think that stays true to the definition, though. That's all I would say.
That's what, and so the gap, bro. For me, the gap.
The gap, bro.
We can grade it. This gap is like, okay, so what are we not documenting when it went negative?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it because I'm just not fucking with it, bro.
Let's grade it. Let's grade it because
elaboration, because I feel like just going through it would take so much more energy than it needs to be. But like I said, just that part I'm not really fucking with. I feel like it takes away from the wholesomeness, the goodness of the phrase,
right?
As opposed to, it was gentle. It was gentle before. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a gentle compliment.
Yeah.
But that whole scenario kind of takes away from it, bro. For me, man, be honest with you, it's just, it's weird, man. You don't want to imprint on your children, but then again, it's situations where you just can't help it.
Right. Especially if it's good. Like I could see if Burrow near the end was like used the military influence to step inside that realm some way and then use it
then
make it more popular
there.
But he went on a totally different angle and used it, and it got popular through basically, like, I don't want to say luck, but
no, this is exactly
Circumstance. Yeah. He didn't. The other two were intentional about that.
Exactly, but that's what I didn't want to kind of like, because I don't know the mindset of how they were back then. But it's like, yeah, bro, like the other two stories, intentional. This is like privilege type, circumstance type. You get what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, we 2 for 3, so let's grade it. You can go power. I'll go speed, and then you feel me? Go for it.
Power, bro. Power, A plus. I'm gonna give it an A plus because I don't think I've given an A plus this whole season, so I'm gonna have to go and check the archives. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an A plus, man. Like this one right here is definitely probably one of the most popular ones we're gonna do this season. Longevity, definitely got it. It's still the same. I even when we're going through the origin and stuff like that, stem, bark, you know what I mean? Like it's still you're still talking about the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And those words like that can be lost in, translation too as well because of the different languages and things like that and different cultures, but it's still saying the exact same thing. And I just feel like, yes, it's left to interpretation and yes, it's left to your own views. But I feel like that's what strengthens it and makes it even more of a powerful phrase, makes it have more longevity because you can sit up here and say, you know what, let me, maybe this, or I'm going to use it like this, or I'm going to use it like that, and it still stay true. So I'm going to definitely give it an A plus for me, brother.
My dog, that's actually very real. All right, man. For me, speed, I'm bringing it down here.
Mm-hmm.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's just too many words. It's just too many words, man. Now, the words are short, but there's too many words. Outside of that, though, because it doesn't have any unnecessary words, I'm going to bump it up a little bit because it doesn't have any, like, you can't take any of them out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You have to say them all to get the point across. So I'm going to go ahead and go with C+ on this one. And I'm sorry to do it, but, it's one of those ones that it sticks because it's more impactful than it is smooth.
Yeah. And that's why I put that plus on there, man, because it does deserve to be up there when it comes to the ranking towards the end of the year. So that plus kind of gave that curve to it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, you're right, man. When it comes to speed, it
ain't got it.
But yeah, that speed isn't where it is. But it's definitely one of the great ones.
It is great. So let's see. Are you going to let George Burroughs' circumstantial use of the phrase without any real experience taint you from Big Dog, Ralph Waldo Emerson, look at me, and Rasmus Raz use of it? What's your overall, man? What?
No, I'm definitely fucking with it, bro. If we still doing that, I'm definitely fucking with it.
We are.
I'll probably give it just with everything in total, I give it more of a B+, just because it's not definite. You know what I'm saying? It's not a definite phrase. So it's like one of those situations where, you use it when it's right. You get what I'm saying? Because if it ain't, then it's not a phrase you're going to hear at all if you're totally different from your parents. But if you have some type of similarity, even if it's one, somebody's going to say it, bro. Somebody's going to say it. So I give that a B, even B+, but I'll stay in that range, like B+.
All right. No, I'm to seal it. I'm gonna go with the plus. To be honest, I even think the fact that, like, how far you have to not be like your parent for to like this. Okay, to say it succinctly, hopefully, you could not have any, like, you cannot act like your parent at all. But if you look like them a little bit, you might get told it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You cannot look like them at all. But if you act like you said one thing, you cannot act like them. You cannot look like them. But if you choose the same job, you might. So it's like, I'm gonna throw that plus on there because
Mm-hmm.
although you will not get told it if like you cannot find any similarities, it's so hard to find that scenario
Right.
that I'll go with the B plus.
Right. See? Yeah. Yeah. It's very. It's a little more difficult to find a reason to give it a lower grade.
Right. That's why I'm even with the speed, I'm like, damn, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to be favorable, but I have to be honest. But we swung that curve.
Perfect.
We swung that bit. All right, man. Now let's go with
The Dictionary of Misinformation.
Is it my turn? You did it
I
last
think so.
time?
I think it's your turn, brother. Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna do like all our guests. I'm gonna go M for Mario. I'm not making fun of none of the guests, by the way. I just never got to say it.
I don't think they watch the show anyway. I don't think any of our guests will actually watch the show. That there. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone that watched, because the numbers are looking great. So thank you to everyone that are watching it, not the guests. I went M, and in a very rare form, maybe because I chose it, I found one immediately, of course. And I'm going with moth eaten. Okay, so moths, contrary to the popular notion, do not eat clothes. Some, as a matter of fact, don't eat anything at all during their adult lives, which are not surprisingly brief. They're not adults for long. It's the larvae that do the damage. By the time moths are flying out of the closet, it's too late. They're not really eating much. So a moth larvae may eat your clothes if it's growing on the clothes. But when you see a moth flying around in your house, it's not waiting for you to dip so it can have buffet in your closet. That's all we got, man. It's always a pleasure to just knock a show out with my dog. Leave him with something, bro.
Oh no, man. Just even if you trying your best not to be close to that tree, just be appreciative that tree gave life to you.
Cool. He talking to me.
Really stay around the tree. You can go and build your own, make your own tree, but just have that little appreciation from where you grew from.
That's real, man. That's real. I'm actually taking that in. No joke, no punchline. I'm taking that in. That's real, especially as we get older and the tree that we fall from gets older. What I'm gonna say. We're brought to you by Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. We're brought to you by the Underdog Podcast Network. Go to appraisethephrase.com for things. Go to appraisethephrase.com/shop for other things. Raise the bar. We're on the way. Rock with us, please. And remember this. If nobody else said it, that value is I, the appraiser, John.